God said something to me in the middle of the night that I cannot shake. He said, "Stop being nice to everyone." That sentence alone shakes everything inside you because you were trained, conditioned, and expected to be nice your entire life. You were told that niceness is holiness, niceness is humility, niceness is Christianity. You were shaped to believe that pleasing people is pleasing God. But heaven is raising its voice to tell you something radically different. God said, "Stop being nice to everyone because niceness has chained you, drained you, and blinded you more than sin ever did. Niceness has made you silent when you should speak, weak when you should stand, passive when you should discern, and available when you should be protected. Niceness has made you tolerate what God told you to walk away from, accept what God uprooted, and stay in places where His Spirit already departed. Niceness has made you surrender your identity, your anointing, your boundaries, and your calling to people who never respected your purpose. Stop being nice to everyone because niceness is not a fruit of the Spirit. The Bible never said be nice. It said be kind, be wise, be discerning, be courageous, be strong, be vigilant, be holy. But niceness is something society created to weaken people, silence people, confuse people, disarm people, and keep people controlled. Niceness is not a divine assignment. It is a social expectation. And God is breaking that expectation off you in this season. You have been applauded for being nice, but heaven is grieving because your niceness has cost you your peace. You have been celebrated for being nice, but the kingdom is mourning because your niceness has suffocated your gifts. People love you for being nice, but God is calling you to be powerful, and these two are not the same. Niceness is artificial. Power is spiritual. Niceness is external. Power is internal. Niceness is performative. Power is transformative. Niceness is about them. Power is about Him. You are not born to be a nice person. You are born to be a chosen person. You are called to be a warrior, a voice, a vessel, a breakthrough carrier, a destiny protector, a lineage changer, a mountain shaker, a demon disruptor. But niceness has made you forget who you are. Niceness told you don't speak, you might offend. God told you cry aloud and spare not. Niceness told you don't set boundaries, people won't like it. God told you guard your heart above all else. Niceness told you let it go, tolerate it. Keep peace at any cost. God told you, what fellowship does light have with darkness? Niceness told you, accept everything, surrender everything, ignore everything. God told you, resist the devil and he will flee. Niceness has become your spiritual weakness. You think you are being Christian, but you are being controlled. You think you are being humble, but you are being drained. You think you are being loving, but you are losing yourself. You think you are being peaceful, but you are sacrificing your destiny. God said, stop being nice to everyone because niceness is not protecting you. It is exposing you to spiritual predators. Niceness is not representing Christ. It is misrepresenting your identity. Niceness is not righteousness. It is your fear wearing a holy mask. And heaven is ripping off that mask. Every time you said yes when God told you no, it was niceness. Every time you let someone stay who got evicted, it was niceness. Every time you supported someone who drained you, it was niceness. Every time you tolerated disrespect in the name of peace, it was niceness. Every time you prayed for someone who continually abused your trust, it was niceness. Every time you accepted treatment that broke your heart just to keep a relationship, it was niceness. But God did not create you to be nice. He created you to be wise. Wisdom is not passive. Wisdom does not tolerate foolishness. Wisdom does not entertain manipulation. Wisdom does not stay silent in injustice. Wisdom does not give access to untrustworthy hearts. Wisdom does not remain where dishonor lives. Niceness has made you a doormat, but God created you to be a gatekeeper. Niceness has made you a people pleaser, but God created you to be a purpose walker. Niceness has made you agreeable, but God created you to be anointed. Niceness has made you fear rejection, but God created you to fear Him alone. Niceness has made you bend, shrink, and disappear, but God created you to stand, grow, and shine. A nice person apologizes for their strength. A God-led person uses their strength. A nice person hides their voice. A God-led person commands atmospheres. A nice person accepts anything. A God-led person tests every spirit. A nice person avoids confrontation. A God-led person confronts what threatens their calling. A nice person is available to everyone. A God-led person is accessible only by divine permission. God said, stop being nice to everyone because you have become predictable to the enemy. He knows you will say yes. He knows you won't walk away. He knows you won't confront him. He knows you won't guard yourself. He knows you will overgive. He knows you will stay silent. And your silence has become his playground. Your niceness has become his habitat. Your openness has become his invitation. Your availability has become his advantage. The enemy is not afraid of nice people. He is afraid of obedient people. Nice people can be manipulated, but obedient people cannot. Nice people can be controlled, but obedient people walk in discernment. Nice people can be silenced, but obedient people roar. Nice people can be misled, but obedient people hear the voice of God, and God is calling you back to obedience. Not the obedience of men, but the obedience of heaven. The obedience where you choose conviction over approval. The obedience where you prioritize purpose over relationships. The obedience where your boundaries reflect your spiritual identity. The obedience where you stop sacrificing your soul just to maintain an image of being nice. Niceness is not your assignment. Transformation is. Niceness is not your calling. Purpose is. Niceness is not your mission. Obedience is. Niceness is not your destiny. Influence is. Niceness is not your identity. Holiness is. The person God is raising in this season is not a nice person, but a kingdom person. And a kingdom person is not passive. They are powerful. They are not available. They are aligned. They are not controlled. They are intentional. They are not drained. They are discerning. They are not silent. They are strategic. They are not weak. They are rooted. They are not manipulated. They are anchored. They are not confused. They are guided by the Spirit, and that is why God is dismantling your niceness. He is stripping away that false costume of politeness you wore to survive. He is removing that fake peace you created by suppressing your truth. He is tearing down that fear-driven identity that kept you small. He is breaking that emotional slavery that made you addicted to approval. He is crushing that passiveness that made you feel obligated to tolerate mistreatment, because niceness is not the reason God blessed you, but it is the reason many of your blessings were delayed. Niceness is not why people love you, but it is why people drained you. Niceness is not why some relationships lasted, but it is why they lasted longer than they should have. Niceness is not why you were chosen, but it is why you have struggled to step into your calling. Niceness has made you exhausted, tired, empty, resentful, and spiritually dehydrated. You have given to people who never gave back. You have invested in people who never valued your investment. You have helped people who never helped you heal. You have supported people who never supported your purpose. You have stood with people who never stood with you. You have poured into people who ripped holes into your soul. You have forgiven people who kept wounding you. You have covered people who exposed you. You have rescued people who watched you drown. And after all of that, they still expected more from you. But heaven is interrupting that cycle. God is calling you out of emotional slavery and into spiritual authority. He is calling you to stop saying yes when he said no. He is calling you to stop excusing behavior he already judged. He is calling you to stop accepting pain he never assigned. He is calling you to stop tolerating people who disrespected your destiny. He is calling you to stop sacrificing your peace for relationships he never ordained. You are not a peacekeeper. You are a peacemaker. There is a difference. Peacekeepers avoid conflict. Peacemakers confront what breaks peace. Peacekeepers stay silent. Peacemakers speak truth. Peacekeepers suppress themselves. Peacemakers stand in alignment with God. Peacekeepers try to please everyone. Peacemakers obey God, even if it offends everyone. God is not calling you to be nice. He is calling you to be whole. Niceness bends to people. Wholeness bows to God. Niceness hides your feelings. Wholeness honors your emotions. Niceness ignores red flags. Wholeness respects boundaries. Niceness avoids truth. Wholeness embraces reality. Niceness gives everything. Wholeness gives wisely. You have spent years being the nice person who loved too much, trusted too much, forgave too quickly, tolerated too long, apologized for things that were not your fault, lowered your standards, silenced your worth, and abandoned parts of yourself to keep relationships alive. But God is calling you out of that version of yourself. He is calling you into the version He originally designed. A person who knows who they are, whose they are, and why they are here. A person who walks with holy confidence, a person who guards their spirit, a person who honors their value, a person who discerns motives, a person who chooses their circle carefully, a person who doesn't apologize for their standards, a person who obeys God above all else. God said, stop being nice to everyone because your destiny requires a stronger version of you. The path you are about to walk requires discernment, not niceness. The doors you are about to enter require boldness, not politeness. The people you are about to meet require boundaries, not availability. The calling you are about to activate requires courage, not compliance. The season you are stepping into requires you to be led by conviction, not controlled by approval. You cannot carry both niceness and purpose into the next chapter. One will destroy the other, and God is insisting that purpose must win. A person's misplaced kindness can become the reason they keep attracting the same pain over and over again. Because when a person leads with softness without wisdom, they become spiritually predictable, emotionally accessible, and relationally vulnerable to people who are not assigned to their life. Many people believe their kindness is a holy offering. But if kindness is not aligned with discernment, it becomes a trap that repeats the same cycle of heartbreak, betrayal, disappointment, and emotional exhaustion. A person keeps meeting the same kind of people, the same draining friends, the same manipulative leaders, the same toxic patterns because they have not yet learned that kindness without boundaries is an open door for spiritual parasites. Heaven is not attacking your kindness. Heaven is confronting the way you distribute it. Because your kindness is not supposed to be thrown everywhere like seeds on concrete. It is supposed to be sown in the right soil with the right people at the right time and under divine instruction. There is a painful truth many people never confront. You don't attract what you deserve. You attract what you allow. When a person gives too freely, loves too quickly, forgives too fast, accommodates too easily, and silences themselves too often, they unconsciously teach people how to treat them. When they overfunction, others underfunction. When they tolerate nonsense, others continue giving nonsense. When they avoid conflict, others ignore their needs. When they always say yes, others stop asking what they want. When they shrink themselves, others grow comfortable taking advantage of them. They become a magnet for takers, leeches, and spiritual opportunists who know they will never walk away. And as long as they remain emotionally available without discernment, they will keep meeting the same wolves wearing different clothing. People do not repeat patterns in your life unless they know you will participate. Pain repeats when you refuse to break the agreement that allows it. A person repeats heartbreak not because they are cursed, but because they haven't learned what behavior, mindset, or boundary is missing. They repeat cycles not because God is silent, but because they are ignoring the inner voice telling them, this is familiar. This is the same pattern in a new face. This is the same disappointment dressed in a new opportunity. A person who operates only from kindness does not recognize danger early. They recognize it after they are already wounded. They don't see red flags. They give them excuses. They don't walk away at signs of disrespect. They pray the person becomes better. They don't guard their soul. They give unlimited access to people who should have been kept outside the gates of their life. Misplaced kindness becomes a spiritual blindfold. It makes you overlook what God is revealing. It makes you justify what the Holy Spirit is warning you about. It makes you attach yourself to assignments God never approved. It makes you stay in relationships God already ended. It makes you trust people who have no spiritual integrity. It makes you defend people God exposed. And every time you choose to be nice instead of obedient, you step into another cycle of the same pain, wearing a different disguise. A person who keeps attracting emotional pain often believes something is wrong with their ability to love. But the real issue is their failure to protect their love. They think they have a broken heart, but the truth is they have broken boundaries. They think they have bad luck, but the truth is they have mismanaged access. They think they are too sensitive, but the truth is they are too available. They think they are too emotional, but the truth is they are too tolerant. They think they are too forgiving, but the truth is they forgive without requiring change. They think they are too loyal, but the truth is they are loyal to people who have not earned it. A person's kindness becomes misplaced when it is given without discernment. Discernment is what separates divine connections from demonic distractions. Discernment is what tells you who deserves your presence, your energy, your compassion, your support, your loyalty. Without discernment, your kindness becomes your curse. With discernment, your kindness becomes a weapon. When a person has discernment, they no longer attract users, they attract builders. They no longer attract liars. They attract truth bearers. They no longer attract manipulators. They attract protectors. They no longer attract emotional projects. They attract spiritual partners because discernment elevates their standard of access. Many people misplace their kindness because they confuse loneliness with destiny. They give too much because they fear being alone. They tolerate disrespect because they fear rejection. They stay with people who drain them because they fear starting over. They keep broken friendships because they fear confrontation. They entertain relationships that have expired because they fear change. But fear-clad kindness is not kindness. It is bondage disguised as compassion. And as long as fear dictates where your kindness flows, your heart will continue to be a target. A person who keeps attracting pain is not weak. They are untrained. They have not yet learned the divine strategy of protecting their heart. They have not learned the strength of saying no. They have not learned the power of stepping back. They have not learned the wisdom of silence. They have not learned the authority of boundaries. They have not learned that kindness without balance becomes a self-inflicted wound. They have not learned that kindness without standards becomes an invitation for broken people to break them further. Misplaced kindness comes from a belief that loving everyone is holy, but true holiness requires wisdom. Even Jesus did not give equal access to everyone. He had the crowds, the 70, the 12, the 3, and then the one he loved. His love was perfect, but his access was selective. He fed thousands, taught hundreds, walked with 12, confided in 3, but revealed his deepest revelations to one. Kindness does not mean access. Compassion does not mean closeness. Forgiveness does not mean familiarity. Love does not mean tolerance. A person who understands this stops attracting pain because they learn to align their kindness with divine order. They learn that they can love someone and still walk away. They learn that they can forgive someone and still protect their soul. They learn that they can be kind without being used. They learn that they can care deeply without losing themselves. They learn that they can bless others without burning themselves out. They learn that they can offer grace without offering unlimited access. They learn that they can be compassionate without being controlled. They learn that they can serve people without sacrificing their identity. Many people attract repeated pain because they don't listen to the warning signs in their spirit. They feel discomfort, but they call it insecurity. They feel hesitation, but they call it overthinking. They feel conviction, but they call it fear. They feel dishonor, but they call it misunderstanding. They feel God pulling them away, but they think they must stay to prove their loyalty. They feel the Holy Spirit whispering, "This is not your assignment," but they continue out of obligation, attachment, or guilt. Misplaced kindness makes a person misinterpret spiritual warnings as emotional reactions. But a person who wakes up spiritually begins to see patterns. They begin to notice that the same type of people show up because they have not changed the spiritual door they walk through. They begin to notice that the same heartbreak keeps happening because they have not changed the way they choose, discern, or guard themselves. They begin to notice that the same disrespect keeps repeating because they have not enforced a boundary. They begin to notice that the same disappointment keeps occurring because they keep ignoring the truth. They begin to notice that the same emotional pattern repeats because they keep nurturing what they should release. The truth is that people can sense when a person is afraid to lose them. And when people sense that fear, they begin to take advantage of it. Misplaced kindness communicates desperation. It tells people you will stay no matter how you are treated. It tells them they can return after hurting you. It tells them they can disrespect you and still have access. It tells them they can drain your energy without consequence. It tells them they can disappear and come back whenever they want. Misplaced kindness teaches others that your heart is an open buffet and they can take whatever they want without giving anything in return. But there is another truth. When a person realigns their kindness with wisdom, the wrong people automatically lose access, not because they become hard, but because they become whole. A whole person does not attract brokenness disguised as love. A whole person does not entertain people who dishonor them. A whole person does not give chances to people who abuse them. A whole person does not negotiate their value. A whole person does not sacrifice their peace for relationships. A whole person does not allow emotional chaos into their spirit. A whole person does not let loneliness dictate their choices. A whole person does not confuse toxicity with loyalty. A whole person does not keep repeating the same painful cycles because they refuse to perform the same painful behaviors. Your patterns change when your standards change. Your relationships change when your boundaries change. Your experiences change when your expectations change. Your destiny changes when your decisions change. Your life changes when your kindness becomes aligned with wisdom rather than fear, obligation, or guilt. Because the truth is, you do not lose people when you stop misplacing your kindness. You simply lose the people who were benefiting from your lack of boundaries. Many people think God is silent during their painful cycles, but He has been speaking through discomfort, through spiritual exhaustion, through recurring red flags, through emotional uneasiness, through broken peace. Pain is not always punishment. Sometimes it is information. It is evidence of what must change. It is the voice of your spirit telling you that the version of yourself that attracted this pain must evolve. A person keeps meeting the same pain until they become a version of themselves that will no longer accept it. Pain stops repeating when discernment takes over. Pain stops repeating when wisdom grows. Pain stops repeating when boundaries strengthen. Pain stops repeating when identity becomes clear. Pain stops repeating when self-respect becomes non-negotiable. Pain stops repeating when the person refuses to return to the version of themselves that tolerated what God never required them to endure. Misplaced kindness is a pattern you must break, because heaven is preparing you for relationships that require emotional strength, spiritual clarity, and mental stability. You cannot walk into a new season carrying old ways of giving yourself away. The next chapter of your life requires upgraded discernment. Not everyone deserves your kindness. Not everyone deserves access to your heart. Not everyone deserves your time. Not everyone deserves your support. Not everyone deserves your loyalty. Not everyone deserves your softness. Not everyone deserves your sacrifice. Not everyone deserves the privilege of your presence, because you are not ordinary. You are chosen. Your kindness is valuable. Your compassion is powerful. Your love is transformational. Your presence is purposeful. And because of that, you cannot afford to misplace your kindness anymore. Heaven cannot elevate a person who refuses to confront what is destroying them, because elevation requires separation, transformation, revelation, and confrontation. A person who wants to rise must first be willing to see what is keeping them low. They must be willing to face the truth they have been avoiding, acknowledge the patterns they have been excusing, recognize the people they have been protecting, and expose the lies they have been believing. God cannot heal what you hide. He cannot transform what you tolerate. He cannot deliver what you defend. And he cannot promote what you refuse to confront. Confrontation is not about fighting people. It is about facing the spiritual forces, internal fears and emotional wounds that have shaped your decisions. It is about looking at the version of yourself that pain created and deciding that they cannot come with you into the next season. A person who cannot confront their fears repeats them. A person who cannot confront their wounds relives them. A person who cannot confront their cycles stays trapped in them. A person who cannot confront the truth remains bound by lies. A person who cannot confront dishonor continues to accept it. A person who cannot confront manipulation continues to fall for it. A person who cannot confront brokenness continues to attract it. Confrontation is a spiritual requirement for transformation, because you cannot defeat what you refuse to identify, and you cannot cast out what you continually entertain. God is not calling you to be aggressive, but he is calling you to be awakened. He is calling you to stop letting pain dictate your story. He is calling you to stop letting fear shape your voice. He is calling you to stop playing small to protect the comfort of others. He is calling you to stop ignoring the truth that has been screaming at your spirit. He is calling you to confront what has been controlling you. Most people avoid confrontation because they fear losing people. But the real question is this: why do you want to keep people who are harming your destiny? Why protect relationships that poison your peace? Why entertain conversations that weaken your confidence? Why keep friendships that drain your spirit? Why hold on to someone who holds you back? Why remain loyal to someone who is loyal to your pain but not loyal to your healing? Why stay committed to cycles that destroy you emotionally, spiritually, and mentally? Confrontation is not about causing conflict. It is about creating clarity. It shows you who respects you and who only respects their access to you. It reveals who values your presence and who only values your usefulness. It exposes who truly loves you and who is simply comfortable taking from you. A person who avoids confrontation becomes a prisoner to their silence. Their unspoken truth becomes their emotional burden. Their suppressed voice becomes their internal war. Their hidden frustration becomes their spiritual weakness. When a person cannot confront what hurts them, they grow accustomed to living in emotional survival mode. They begin to normalize disrespect. They begin to excuse manipulation. They begin to justify mistreatment. They begin to blame themselves for other people's dysfunction. They begin to absorb pain that was never theirs to carry. They begin to shrink their identity to keep the peace. But peace built on silence is not peace. It is emotional oppression wearing a polite mask. God is calling you to confront what has been stealing your joy. He is calling you to confront the insecurity that tells you that you are not enough. He is calling you to confront the fear that whispers that you will end up alone. He is calling you to confront the shame that keeps you chained to your past. He is calling you to confront the lies that say you must settle to be loved. He is calling you to confront the wounds that shaped your low expectations. He is calling you to confront the trauma that taught you to hide your voice. He is calling you to confront the generational patterns that trained you to accept less than what God promised. A person who confronts themselves becomes unstoppable. When they confront their fears, they become courageous. When they confront their wounds, they become healed. When they confront their worth, they become confident. When they confront their boundaries, they become protected. When they confront their calling, they become powerful. When they confront their identity, they become unshakable. Because confrontation is the birthplace of clarity, and clarity is the birthplace of destiny. A person who can see clearly cannot be deceived easily. A person who knows themselves cannot be controlled by others. A person who understands their value cannot be manipulated by attention. A person who recognizes God's voice cannot be distracted by counterfeits. A person who confronts their truth becomes a person who refuses to repeat their history. The enemy fears a person who confronts what he has been using against them. He fears a person who confronts their excuses. He fears a person who confronts their procrastination. He fears a person who confronts their emotional attachments. He fears a person who confronts the toxic version of themselves they became while surviving. He fears a person who confronts the parts of themselves that protected their pain instead of protecting their purpose. He fears a person who confronts the internal voice that told them they were unworthy. He fears a person who confronts the thoughts that made them play small. He fears a person who confronts the lies he planted to limit their future. Because once a person confronts the truth, they walk in the authority that God always intended for them. A person who confronts is a person who rises. They rise in wisdom. They rise in discernment. They rise in strength. They rise in spiritual maturity. They rise in confidence. They rise in clarity. They rise in purpose. They rise in identity. They rise in power. This is why God is calling you to confront everything that has kept you beneath your calling. You cannot rise while pretending you are not hurting. You cannot rise while ignoring what is broken. You cannot rise while excusing what is toxic. You cannot rise while avoiding what must be addressed. You cannot rise while protecting what keeps you low. God cannot elevate a person who refuses to confront the things that contradict their destiny. Many people pray for a new season without confronting the habits that sabotage the next season. They want new relationships but keep the same low boundaries. They want new opportunities but keep the same fear. They want new direction but keep the same distractions. They want spiritual growth but keep the same emotional cycles. They want divine alignment but keep the same unhealthy attachments. They want God to open doors but refuse to shut the old ones. But elevation requires elimination. You cannot carry everything into the next chapter. Some relationships expire because your destiny demands it. Some friendships fade because your purpose exposes their intentions. Some habits die because they cannot survive where you are going. Some behaviors fall off because maturity makes them unnecessary. Some mindsets collapse because revelation destroys them. Some cycles end because healing interrupts them. A person who refuses to confront their reality becomes stuck in rehearsing their past. They repeat stories instead of writing new ones. They relive wounds instead of allowing God to heal them. They give chances to people who keep proving they don't deserve them. They hold on to people who keep proving they cannot grow with them. They invest in relationships that only withdraw from them. They sacrifice for people who will never sacrifice for them. They nurture people who are spiritually assigned to break them. But a person who confronts their truth stops repeating patterns. They stop entertaining foolishness. They stop accepting the bare minimum. They stop allowing emotional access to people who misuse it. They stop letting guilt control their decisions. They stop letting loneliness manipulate their choices. They stop letting fear silence their voice. They stop letting insecurity shape their standards. They stop letting pain guide their behavior. When a person confronts their truth, they step into spiritual maturity. They realize that confrontation is not conflict. Confrontation is clarity. Confrontation is not aggression. Confrontation is alignment. Confrontation is not disrespect. Confrontation is stewardship. Confrontation is not rebellion. Confrontation is protection. Confrontation is not disobedience. Confrontation is obedience to the voice of God over the emotions of people. The person God is raising in this season must confront their spiritual environment. They must confront the relationships that influence their decisions. They must confront the habits that weaken their purpose. They must confront the attachments that distract their calling. They must confront the emotional wounds that shape their patterns. They must confront the internal fears that shape their choices. They must confront the spiritual attacks that influence their behavior, because elevation requires clarity, and clarity requires confrontation. The truth is, many people are not stuck because God is silent. They are stuck because they are avoiding what God is pointing at. They are stuck because they are afraid of the discomfort of truth. They are stuck because they fear who they will lose. They are stuck because they fear who they will become. They are stuck because they fear the responsibility of healing. But God is not calling you to comfort. He is calling you to transformation. And transformation begins the moment you confront the version of yourself that cannot enter your next season. A person who refuses to confront will always remain in cycles they were born to break. They will continue living below the level God designed for them. They will continue accepting relationships that do not honor them. They will continue being influenced by people who do not value them. They will continue entertaining pain because avoiding truth feels easier. But a person who confronts becomes a person who evolves. They become a person who no longer apologizes for their standards. They become a person who no longer explains their boundaries. They become a person who no longer tolerates disrespect. They become a person who no longer abandons their own needs. They become a person who no longer loses themselves in the name of loyalty. They become a person who no longer allows fear to control their life. Your elevation is waiting behind one courageous moment of confrontation. One moment where you decide to speak the truth. One moment where you choose yourself. One moment where you honor your worth. One moment where you confront what has been controlling you. One moment where you release what has been draining you. One moment where you let go of who you were to become who God designed you to be. You have spent enough seasons avoiding the truth. You have survived enough years pretending you were fine. You have carried enough pain that was not meant to be your identity. This is the moment heaven is calling you to rise. Rise above the lies. Rise above the fear. Rise above the wounds. Rise above the patterns. Rise above the people who benefit from your silence. Rise above the version of yourself that pain created. Because the person you are becoming is stronger than the person you used to be. They are wiser, clearer, braver, and more aligned with heaven. And nothing, absolutely nothing, can stop a person who finally confronts what has been stopping them. Stop being nice to everyone. Start being obedient to God. Stop being nice to everyone. Start protecting your purpose. Stop being nice to everyone. Start honoring your boundaries. Stop being nice to everyone. Start walking in your authority. Stop being nice to everyone. Start embracing your calling. Stop being nice to everyone. Start becoming who God created you to be. The world doesn't need more nice people. It needs more powerful people. It needs more people who know their identity. It needs more people who walk in authority. It needs more people who are not afraid to speak truth. It needs more people who are not controlled by the opinions of others. It needs more people who are not manipulated by guilt or obligation. It needs more people who have confronted their truth and embraced their destiny. Be that person. Stop being nice to everyone. Now listen to me carefully. If this message has stirred something in your spirit, if you felt that conviction rise up inside you, if you know that God is speaking to you right now, I need you to do something. I need you to respond. Don't just watch this and walk away. Don't let this message fall on deaf ears. Don't let the enemy steal what God is trying to plant in your heart right now. Pause this video for a moment. Look at the screen and say out loud, I am stopping being nice to everyone. I am starting to be obedient to God. Say it like you mean it. Say it like your destiny depends on it, because it does. If you're ready to take that step, if you're ready to confront what has been controlling you, if you're ready to stop being nice and start being powerful, comment down below. I want to see those comments. I want to see the declarations. Type, I am stopping being nice to everyone. Type, I am confronting my truth. Type, I am rising. Let me hear your faith. Let me see your courage. Let the enemy know you are not playing anymore. And don't stop there. Hit that like button. This like button is not just a click. It's a declaration. It's you saying, I agree with this message. I'm ready to change. I'm ready to stop being nice to everyone. When you hit that like button, you are aligning yourself with heaven's agenda for your life. So hit it right now. Subscribe to this channel. We are building a movement here, a movement of people who are done with being controlled by the opinions of others, a movement of people who are ready to walk in their God-given authority, a movement of people who are not afraid to confront their truth and embrace their destiny. If that is you, hit subscribe right now and turn on that notification bell, because you don't want to miss what's coming next. I'm about to release messages that are going to shake you, challenge you, and elevate you to a whole new level. So don't miss out. Share this video. Share it with everyone who needs to hear this message. Share it with your friends who are trapped in people-pleasing. Share it with your family members who are exhausted from being too nice. Share it with your coworkers who are being taken advantage of. Share it with your church community. Share it on Facebook. Share it on Instagram. Share it on Twitter. Send it in a text message. Post it in your group chat. This message is too important to keep to yourself. People are suffering because they are too nice and they don't even know it. You could be the one who sets them free. So share this video right now. I want to see this video go viral. I want it to reach millions of people who are trapped in the prison of niceness. I want it to break chains. I want it to shatter yokes. I want it to set captives free. I want it to wake people up from their spiritual slumber. I want it to start a revolution. And the only way that happens is if you share it. So go ahead, share it right now. Don't wait. Don't hesitate. Don't let fear stop you. Share it and comment. I want to read your comments. Tell me what you're confronting. Tell me what you're releasing. Tell me what you're stepping into. Tell me how this message impacted you. I read every single comment. I pray over every single request. Your comment matters. Your story matters. Your breakthrough matters. So comment down below. And if you're ready to take this even further, if you want to go deeper, if you want to really break free from niceness and step into your destiny, I'm going to be doing a follow-up video about how to set boundaries without feeling guilty, and another one about how to walk in your spiritual authority, and another one about how to discern who really belongs in your life. So make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of them. Now, let me pray over you before I go. This is not just a video. This is a divine appointment. Something is shifting in the spirit right now. If you're watching this, God has a specific purpose for you. He is calling you out of the prison of niceness and into the freedom of obedience. And He's about to do something new in your life. Father, I pray for every person watching this video right now. I pray that you would give them the courage to stop being nice to everyone and start being obedient to you. I pray that you would break every chain of people